Hello, everybody from Awakened by Heather. It's Thursday, July the 18th, and it's a wonderful day today. I'm so excited. A very, very special lady is going to be joining me here in the next few minutes, and we're going to have a conversation with Beverly. Beverly Frosch is a psychic medium here in the area, and I connected with Beverly probably about 3 months ago, just in the outside world. Um, and her energy is just so amazing. So it was really, really important for me to strike a conversation with her and to get to know her a little bit better, and then invite her to come here and share um, her life and her story with us. Now, you're going to learn a whole lot about her here very shortly, so I'm not going to give too much away, but it's a very powerful story, and I can't wait to have a discussion with her. While I'm here, how's everybody doing? You know what? I know that the energies are a little crazy right now. Just so you know, I did upload a meditation for the full moon energies. I'm sorry I didn't get it out on Tuesday night, but I did get it out today. So you can definitely reach into that and download it and take it with you if you want. There's a lot kicking up right now. I have to be completely honest with you all. I have been wavering back and forth, making a very, very big change in my life. Sorry. And I was struggling with the loyalty to having a consistent income in my family, to living my dream passionately. And a few months ago, the universe kind of went, okay, listen, you're going to have to make a decision here. And I've been presented with a lot of challenges in the last few months. And it came to a boiling point yesterday. And you know how you're just know when your soul has had enough. And that's exactly what happened. And so, needless to say, I'm no longer working outside of the home. I am back home exclusive here. And what I want to share with you about this story is that as soon as I closed the door finally, because I am one person who will hang on with everything I have until the bitter end. And I will look for goodness, and I will look for the silver lining in things, and I will give chances. And I have been doing that for the last 7 months and kind of, avoiding what has been going on. And yesterday it just came about and it came to culmination. And as soon as I closed that door, no word of a lie, I was walking in on my way home and my phone started to blow up. And my phone started to blow up with business, with people contacting me saying, "Hey, listen, I wanted to reach out to you and talk to you about, doing your program, becoming part of your membership, doing this." So, where I'm going with this is that the universe is this big vessel of creation. And months ago, I laid the intent of wanting to be the holder of light and really work my wellness business. And I started doing that alongside of a career that had worked for me in the past. And I was thankful for that career, and it served its purpose and it served me well. But as soon as my energy shifted and the momentum started to build with every one of you leaning into me, I started to get resistance. I started to see the wheels falling off the outside commitment that I had. And I hung on and I hung on and I hung on. And I learned yesterday that, you know what? I just needed to close that door. And I'm so happy and I'm so thankful. So it's really exciting. I just want to look here because I think maybe Beverly might have come in. Maybe. No, not yet. Soon, though. Um, so just remember that when things are really rough and tough, there's always something that's on the outside. And if you can just trust, and I know that that's a hard thing for a lot of people, it's a very hard thing for me to trust the process. But yesterday, I truly stood in the power, sobbing and being, totally and utterly blindsided, and said, okay, okay, world, okay, universe, you've been calling me to action. I just took action. I'm scared to death. And now I need your help. And so um, I got it. And the blessings that I got yesterday, oh my gosh, they're just so profound. And I'm so thankful. So just like I'm thankful for all of you. Now, the next month's events are coming up. And I'm going to start laying down the theme for next month. And I'd love to hear your feedback. You know what? How are you liking what you're getting from here? Is there something you want to know more of? You will actually get a fresh peek at the Roundtable podcast that is being recorded later this week. And it's exciting. It's where we really take all filters off life and just experience the behind the scenes is that I'm gathering with a group of people, and we open the conversation. We open the conversation about whatever topic is pulled out of the hat that day. It could be relationships, it could be family, it could be lifestyle, business, spirituality, whatever. It doesn't matter. It could be wellness, it could be anything. And it's a no holds bar, open topic conversation. How does everybody feel? So I'm sure that there'll be some points of it that, might create reactions in some of us, and that's okay. Just remember that everybody has the right to their own opinion, and as long as it's not, delivered in a hurtful way, then that's theirs. It's not yours. If it's triggering something in you, then maybe there's a piece of you that is connected to some kind of variation of thought of what we're talking about, and it just needs to be looked at and addressed. But honestly speaking, I think that it's going to be quite a fun time. Beverly's here, so hold on. Hello, lovely. There you are.
There. No, I'm just clearing my, I just put on, there we go. Awesome.
Hi there.
How are you? Are you recording yet?
I am actually.
Okay.
How are you doing?
It's been an interesting 24 hours.
I just kind of caught a little bit of glimpse of that, and we will definitely talk about that after if you want to.
Yeah, and I need to know if you have any insight into CBD oil anywhere.
You know what? I have a few friends actually.
I need some pure CBD oil.
Okay, all right. We can figure that out for you. I might have some connections for you.
I need them like this morning.
Okay, we can try and figure that out for you.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Heather.
No problem. Listen, thank you for coming here. I know that life has been a little crazy for you. I am so excited for you to be here. I know that you are very, very new to this with me, and our relationship is very new and fresh. But I know that as soon as I met you, there was just this connection of real love and light that came from your heart that I got. So my group, my tribe here, which I'm building on, is very much made up of people like that. And I love to be able to share passionate stories. And I was able to, I was intrigued by you when I first met you. Then I dug a little bit deeper. I was stalking you.
Legit, or is she crazy?
No, maybe a little bit of both.
No, me.
No, not at all. And I checked out your website and your Facebook and all that stuff, and I just loved your story, and that was yet another connection for me. So I just want to kind of turn the floor over to you here. I want to say welcome to Awaken by Heather,
Thank you.
Life and Wellness Empowerment Network, and welcome to my tribe. I want you to share your story of who Beverly is, what Beverly does, and what brought Beverly here. And then after that's done, then maybe we can ask a few questions to get a little bit deeper.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
So I go by the Blue Mountain Medium on social media, but I am really Beverly Frosh. As a soul, I'm a healer. And that's to the core of who I am at my soul. And when I look back at my life and how I got to where I am today, because I know that's something we talked about, is sharing that story, is I was a registered nurse in intensive care and emergency department for quite some time, and not really aware too much of my gifts. I just thought that everybody could do what I did. I just thought that everybody knew information about people. I just thought that the thoughts that I had in my head were just normal. But actually, I was hearing spirit. I was hearing my higher self. I was connecting with my higher guides. I would know things about patients coming in the door, nudging the doctor and going, you know what? Could you just do me a favor and kind of look in this direction? And and over time, I mean, I couldn't put my finger on it until I actually went for a reading. Funny enough, um, and I did it. I got a message from a friend of mine, and she said, "Oh, I got a friend coming in from Arizona. He's going to be doing readings, and would you be interested? He's going to be doing some intuitive readings." And I went, "Yeah, go for shits and giggles. What the heck, right?"
Yeah.
Shits and giggles, and everything was good in my life. Like I really had no. I just thought, what the hell? Let's see what he has to say, right? And I went, and within 5 minutes, he was telling me things that I had never uttered to another human being.
That's
I
profound.
only thought. And then he looked at me within that 5 minutes and he said, "You can do what I do." And I'm like, "Really?" And then I just thought he told everybody that. Really, right? I'm like, yeah, whatever, right? So he went on to tell me, he goes, "Those thoughts you're having in your head, you're hearing spirit." It wasn't until I kind of started digging a little bit deeper in it and wanting to really own it, right, and develop it, that I realized I needed more help than what I could get locally. So I reached out. It's really random how it came about, because it was one of those synchronistic events where a couple of years prior to this, I purchased, I was just walking around the bookstore, and John Edwards' book, Infinite Quest, grabbed me, and I picked it up, went, "Oh, that's really interesting. Don't know why. Didn't know at
Mm-hmm.
that point I could do any of that."
Mm-hmm.
And I stuck it in the bookshelf. I never read it at the time. So it's not till that moment in time where I kind of knew I needed more help, where I grabbed the book and I said, "Okay, let me just start reading it." And I opened it up to the page of talking about John Edwards' teacher, the only person he ever called as a teacher. Well, I met her. I worked with her. I flew to Tampa, Florida 3 times in 5 months and worked with her. And she is an incredible energy worker. That woman is beautiful.
Okay.
She has it down to a science. And I'm so grateful I met her, because I honestly believe that if I hadn't met her first, I don't think I could have owned my gifts as quickly as I did, because it made a lot more sense energetically what I was feeling. And she's actually the one who helped me harness, energy, that's understanding what energy is mine and what's not mine, right? Because that's a huge key, and not just in us as developing, intuitives and energy workers and healers and mediums and psychics. There's a lot of people out there that are suffering from picking up other people's energy and don't understand it. So, and it's huge, right? I mean, we could go on and on about this till Christmas.
Good.
I know we could, and
Yeah.
there's no way 45 minutes would even begin to cover it. I'm actually writing a book on this, because it's something that is so profound. And it's just something I'm really, because if I can experience it, and I'm having so many people come to me for readings that are going, "Oh, well, I'm having this, or I'm having that," and I call them out on it, they'll look at me and go, "Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
well, I just thought it was my stuff."
Yeah.
And the minute you give people the tools, they're like, "Oh, it's that simple."
Yeah.
So it was been a process, I'll be honest with you. But, through that whole process, I worked with a lot of different mentors, because with each mentor, I got bits and different information from each one of them. It kind of like, it was just like, it kind of solidified the pie. Like I got another piece of the pie added every time, right? Till I completely felt like I got what I needed. And each teacher gave me something. And, it's been a really quick 6-year journey. But, it's gotten to the point where in the last 18 months that I trust spirit more than the living.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
and energetically, what I get, I trust it. I know it's not wrong. I may not be able to put my finger on it. I may have to work through it and kind of go, oh, I've got this feeling, or I have this death energy again. Whoa, hold on here. And I start working through it, right? I start asking questions.
Yeah.
Because, we all think that it's so simple. It's not. If it was that simple, everybody would be doing it, right? So I'm still evolving. I'm still learning.
Amazing.
And the biggest thing is that, and I've had this conversation with friends who are mediums or professional mediums, and say, you'd think that we have this elevator to answers to the higher beings, right? So why don't we get these answers? And we don't, because there's a huge journey, there's a huge lesson, life lessons involved in the whole process. And as you know, and we haven't talked about this, but I'm hearing this, is that you've had your own set of life lessons. You've had your own, it's like when we first start opening up, we're like onions, we start peeling the layers back to our soul to get to the root of who we are as a soul and what holds us back, right? So it's not an easy journey. It is an uncomfortable journey. And you learn a lot about yourself in a really, really short period of time. A lot of people don't do that because it's too painful and they want to go back to their default mode. They want to go back into hiding. They don't want to face that stuff. And that's okay. But in time, they'll get to the point where they'll be like, I can't hide from this anymore.
For sure. For sure.
Um,
And that's really an amazing awareness to bring. And that's something that in my practice, I speak to, getting through as we are learning. So as long as we are learning and as long as we are open, then we are always in movement and we're healing. Everything that I'm experiencing today is just an added bonus because I can then share, yeah, I know where you are, keep going. Do you know what I mean? As you
absolutely.
move along, I always say a coach or a mentor or a healer or yourself included as a medium, we are all in process. That is life, is that it is a process to experience. And if you're coming to me with looking for perfection, you're not going to get that because that is not who I am.
Going.
Exactly. Keep going, right? Because you're not perfect, I'm not perfect, and it's all a journey. And that's what you want, is somebody that's always growing and ebbing and flowing and learning. So yeah, it's, there's a lot of judgment out there. When you said, oh, well, you should know everything. I've heard that several times, from people. It's like, well, especially in your profession, well, you should know,
My favorite
what's
is, well,
going on.
you're a medium or a psychic, you should know that information. And I laugh because you know what? I'm not privileged to everything. I
Yep.
have a pact with my people upstairs.
Yep.
And when I say that, I mean guides, loved ones,
Yep.
my higher people up there. I'm not talking about, I don't work so much with my loved ones on the other side. I work with my higher guides. So to me, that's really important. And my loved ones help me with my everyday stuff, but my higher guides they're doing that soul, lesson work. And I'm a firm believer, Heather, the minute we figure this stuff all out, we're going upstairs.
100%. So I don't want to figure it out right now because I'm not ready.
We're not meant to figure it out, right? So,
Exactly.
and there's days where, I explain this to people. I feel like I'm on a hamster wheel and I just want to get off. And I say to people, just ask for a day to give you a break. Just say to your people in your head, I really need a break today. Just give me that parking spot close to the store. Just give me a couple breaks today. It's that simple. And just asking in your head and just saying, even if you don't know who they are, just ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
They will help. Trust me, they will help. It is incredible. A lot of the information that we just get on a daily basis that we think are random thoughts that come from a higher source. These are channeled. Our gut intuitive feelings are not just there for shits and giggles. They are coming from a higher source. And people need to harness that. And because then they don't feel like a salmon swimming upstream.
Yeah.
Right. So how many people, every single person will attest to this, who's listening, will say, oh yeah, I didn't listen. And I came around and bit me in the butt at the end. Right. So I'm pretty blunt. I don't, so, and if I have people on one-on-one, sometimes I swear, but it's just my authenticity, right?
Me too.
It's all about, sorry, I'm trying not to slide into channel. When I look off to the distance, I'm just struggling not to slide into channel.
Yes.
So if you see me look away, I'm like, hey guys, stop.
I know. It's okay.
So they're really being persistent. And it's my higher guides today. So, just with everything I'm going on as well. So, you know, and I have a pact with my people upstairs that I don't want to know when my loved ones are going to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I don't want that information. I don't want to bear that burden.
Yeah.
If there's stuff that I do need to know around that, I'm open to that and they know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if anybody says to me, well, I want to know what day am I going to die? I'm like, hello, like, you tell me what day I'm going to die and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
Right?
And why?
Control. We talk,
I know.
we mentioned judgment, control. Those are
Yes.
two big life lessons.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And, I can personally attest to the fact that, from a very young age, I've always been a different child. You speak, I will just call it that. You speak to, people picking up energies and how, most of the world is walking around taking on everybody else's shit, right? And because that's what we're doing.
Mhm.
And so, from a very young child, I could see, I could hear, and I was a clear conduit. And then stuff happened.
Mhm.
And then I shut that down out of protection mode. And then I lived most of my life in protection mode.
Well, it's
And
fear.
pardon?
You lived in fear. Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
A
And
hundred
it's
percent.
so normal when you go into that space in your brain. It's just a protective. You go,
Yeah, I'm like
I feel
this.
this right now. Absolutely.
100%. And, and then I kind of describe the breaking down and as the breaking open, because it was a breakdown and it was a break open. And then now I look and go, wow, it's so much different. And then, that, I lost somebody very, very close to me. And it was about probably a half of a year before that I started to really hear again and feel again and see again. And I look back now and there were so many things that led up before her passing that happened that I was getting. Like now I can go, wow, that was what
I understand it.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's a very powerful moment. So I love that you encourage people to stay open, because I encourage people to stay open too. Find your center, open up, and just trust. Ask the questions. Is this for me? Is this not for me? Is this about me? There's always
Absolutely.
signs around you.
Oh my
So
God, are you kidding? Absolutely.
yes.
And when you're grieving, and you hit a really good nail on the head about when you're in a situation where you have something traumatic, or, we tend to cocoon ourselves to protect ourselves. And we slide very much into our analytical left brain at that point. And when that's our fear-based brain, right?
I
It's
spent
actually
most of my damn life there.
part of the book I'm writing about, because we all get into that space when, especially if we're grieving or we're in fear.
Yeah.
For me, I can't be in that brain if I read. Right?
Yes.
For me to do a mediumship reading, I have to be in my right side of my brain. I've made the distinction very quickly to kind of go to know when I've slid back and forth, and when I'm not in that space, and I know when to call it. If there's something, like I have something on the go right now, that's I'm canceling readings right now, because I'm not going to give people. I'm pretty sure I can do it, but I'm not going to do that to people, because I know that for the next 24 hours or 48 hours, I need to cocoon in,
Yeah. Yeah. You
right?
do.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And I trust it enough to go, all right,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the outcome, no matter what crazy. And this is the weirdest thing, is I always get this, excuse me, no matter what's going on in our life or how horrendous it is,
Mm-hmm.
I know there's bigger things at work. I
100%.
know everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. And
No
that
matter
is
what it is.
something, isn't that profound when
Yeah.
yeah, it is,
And I have
because
peace to know that it's okay.
yeah. And that was probably one of the greatest things that I was able to take away from my sister's passing 18 months ago. It was standing there in front of everything, and I was devastated. My heart was broken and I was lost and I was all those things. But in that moment, people, my husband got it, and I spoke to my husband about it. I said, "But honey, it's okay. There's so much okay here right now." I had this connection, and I know that everything is going to be okay. And even though it's really shitty right now, it's going to be all right. And some of this week has not been an easy week for me. There's been a lot of shit go down, much like you, and a lot of things happen that I never ever wanted to happen. But sit here today, and even you talk about how things, when you close the door, here it comes, and the signs are all around. It happened magically. So it's so wonderful to sit in this place and go, wow, that was a really shitty experience, but look at how much goodness just came into my life because of it.
And I always spin that too, because instead of like laser focusing on the negative part of it,
Yeah.
I always reword it and step back and say, what did that teach me? There's a huge
100%.
lesson in that. What was the lesson? Because our ego gets in the way. That left brain, that's where our ego lives, right?
Yeah.
Stepping back and saying, okay, I know there was a bigger thing at play here. What
Yeah.
was it? And a great way of doing that, Heather, is detaching ourselves emotionally. So say if you're trying to figure something out, right? And let me give you an example. I could say to you, you and I are having coffee, right? And say you don't know me very well, and I'm explaining the exact same thing to you that's been happening. It's my problem, but only I'm explaining it to you. So it's your problem. I'm not yourself emotionally. I'm explaining as if it's happened to me, going, Heather, what do you think the lesson is in that? Like,
Yeah.
why is this stuff happening to me? It's easier to detach yourself to figure out what that lesson is. So the life big lessons are, being non-judgmental, patience, control. Oh my God, there's a whole bunch of them. I'm having a brain moment here. There's like about 7 of them
Yeah.
that, we need to kind of step back and kind of go, oh, okay,
Yeah.
got it. Thank you for that. And
Yeah.
just when we think we get it figured out,
Oh, there's another piece.
they'll test us. They'll test
Yes.
us the second time around. So I've had the same lesson 3 times, worse each time.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm okay with that, because
Yeah.
obviously that's a massive, massive lesson that I've agreed to before I've incarnated into this body.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. And this is a lot. I mean, people need to know that, in this world that we live in, we have access to many different people in your position, many
Mhm.
different gifted people. Some are on a good track, some are not. And
Correct.
and and like you said, I want to touch on this. Our fear pulls us into you
Mhm.
sometimes, right? Unless you intuitively connect with somebody. And that's how I make my connection. Even though I've always lived this life and been open to this, I will not read with anybody. I will not, open myself up to people until I really truly know that you are my person. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
that's a very sacred place. But there's a lot of us out there that are wounded warriors or living in a place, and we're just seeking, your guidance, tell me what's going to happen today, and I get all those things. But
Mhm.
if we can just settle into the fact that there's a whole other level, it's so much more for you right now. You have so much that you can share when you open to the whole experience instead of just being, tell me
Well,
what's going to happen tomorrow.
well, you know what? And I've always been trained to make sense of what I do and what I hear. Like even as you're talking, I'm hearing things about your life and about your sister, and I'm like, okay, so that's great. I hear it, I acknowledge it, and I go,
Yep.
thank.
Thank you very much.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
So it's all about um, when I said that, I lost my train of thought there. I've only had a couple hours of sleep last night, so I
Same.
apologize for that.
No rush.
And it had to do, it's all about the lessons and just trusting what we are hearing, and it's those random thoughts that we get.
Yes.
That's the nuggets of information that people need to be aware of, because that's where you're channeling that information. You're being either, and it doesn't matter where it comes from. Don't overthink it. Whether it's from a loved one, a spirit guide, doesn't matter. Just take it,
Yeah.
trust it.
You got it.
There's a reason. And I always say to people, there's even a bigger thing. Look at so you think, okay, I'm going to go to work today. You can't find your keys. Most of us would be like, nick, 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 can't find my freaking keys. And we'd be nattering to ourselves negatively.
Yeah.
There's a left brain again.
Yeah.
And then we find the keys and away we go. And we grumble all the way to work. It sets a tone for the day. However, that loss of keys for that moment in time, this is how I look at it, may have prevented you from being in the wrong place at the wrong time in an accident.
Yeah.
So be thankful for those moments instead of getting angry.
Yeah. No, this is something this is something we talk about in our family for all of the time. And it's something that I have said, because we'll be in the car and we'll be going along and we'll get stuck. And my husband's just like, oh my God. And I'm like, okay, breath in, breath out. obviously,
That could be
we are being
frustrating.
paused for a reason. So let's just go with it, okay? Let's just go with it.
Yeah.
And we get there, and afterwards he's like, "Yes, I know."
But my favorite is somebody cuts you off and it's like, and I'm like,
Oh, I know.
you know what? Trust me, they didn't get up this morning and say, I'm going to cut the guy off in the silver truck
a
just
hundred
because I'm
percent.
going to kick him off. Like,
A
there's a
hundred
reason for
percent.
everything. We don't understand it, and we're not meant to understand everything. But
No.
our analytical brains that have access to Dr. Googling everything think that we have answers to everything, and we don't. It's about trusting. And society is so much about thinking right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to learn to start feeling.
We do. And it's funny that you should say that because, yes, we are all about thinking right now. However, since last November, December, the world as a whole on an energetic level has made this shift
Mhm.
of openness, like it's like a portal opened. And I
Mhm.
was just talking about this the other day with another group of people, and the portal was really amplified at the start of this month and on the new moon.
So in
And
July,
pardon?
in July, you mean like the beginning of July? Yeah.
Yes.
That makes
Yeah.
so much sense, Heather.
Does it? Okay.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
and yeah, and we started, so the portal was open on this new moon. We entered into Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde is all about communication, and it's in it the way that the energies are all sitting right now. We are dealing with all of our wounds. It's time to address all of our old wounds. We're going back to get what you haven't gotten, and
Oh,
address it if it's kicking up, right? And so then now this full moon just came on in Capricorn, and Capricorn is about, wow, let's let go, let's be nurtured, let's be loved, let's take care of that infant
wow.
side of us, right? So for me, all of this has been like, wow, and okay, I can do this, right? But when you talk about that thought of everybody thinking, now we've been here for so long in the thinking process, and the world and the universe is calling us to open from here. So we have this conflict of, who the
Mm.
hell am I? How the hell do you want me to act? And what's going on? So it goes to that right brain, left brain. I call that left brain the critter brain. Whenever I'm coaching people, it's like, the critter brain that comes after you, all that stuff.
Mhm.
That it's okay. It's okay. We're just going to simmer it down, and we're just going to change the circuitry and move through it,
Mhm.
right? So there's so many things that impact everybody in so many ways.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. Do you want to talk about how you got here?
Oh, is it Collingwood? No, I'm kidding.
I know you don't have to at all. I'm opening that up to you just because.
No, that's kind of there's a couple of different ways I could go with that question.
Yeah,
So, um, I went through this process of really trusting my mediumship, right? And there were times where I did shut the door, and I didn't want to come into the space because it was too overwhelming,
yeah,
to be inundated so quickly with the information I was getting or the feelings I was getting. So I went back and I shut the door again for a period of time,
yeah.
and I shut it for about 6 months. And I'd had a loss at that point too, around that time, and some other major stuff going on in my life, of somebody very close. So it was difficult, and I just shut the door. And I got to a point later where I went, damn it, I can't do this anymore. I've got to own this because it becomes overwhelming. And if I don't channel information, or I don't get that out over a period of time, for me, I feel that I start to get irritable. A lot of people who channel get anxiety.
Yep.
I've worked past that.
Yep.
I don't let that happen anymore. So I just get irritable. So it's having done that work and gotten on the other side of that. So I know that. I mean, like I just took 10 days off, and it was fantastic.
Good.
Um, yeah, I did do some stuff, I did channel, for a friend of mine who I was with and things like that. So it's not like I stuffed that all down the whole time I was there.
Yeah.
So she was very open to that, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So I do, I've trusted it. getting to this point where I am is, it wasn't easy because I did do two jobs for a while,
Hmm.
trying to get the mediumship off the ground. It's not an easy thing. People just think they're going to hang their shingle up and people are going to come to you, and they don't. Because it's a huge trust issue, and you're really truly dealing with some serious sensitivities with people. And I take that one word can change anything that you say to somebody. And I will never be that person who leaves somebody feeling not well or feeling sad or not leaving them on a positive note. So I kept seeking out all these different courses, but I let my intuition feel where I needed to go for those courses. So I've done a lot of training outside of Canada because I couldn't get the quality of education that I wanted here.
Yeah.
I'm still working with a mentor to this day, because I can't know everything about this. And not only that, but I connect with other people that, like, I've built a tribe from all over the world
Yes. Yes.
that I can talk to, or we can, bounce things off of each other,
Yeah.
or refer to each other to. So it's been a huge development.
Yeah.
Like, I could go land in San Diego and have friends. Florida, I have a tribe down there. Like, it just goes on. Virginia, it just goes on and on. Like, Ireland, I'm so grateful for the people I've met, because I've educated myself with things that have happened to them, right? And then, it's just I've been building, with all of the courses I've been taking, my own library.
Yeah.
Right? Because spirit, for me, and this, people need to understand this, I don't see spirit like a movie. I'm not one of those, that would be way too easy. I don't get that. I have to work for it. So for me, I had to learn to trust what I was hearing. I was hearing spirit in my own head, in my own voice, in my own thoughts, not their voice. That was a kicker. And
Okay. And that's called clairaudience.
yeah, that's clairaudient.
Okay.
And then I would, if I do a one-on-one reading with me and I close my eyes, I'd like, literally, they start showing me pictures in my mind's eye. And then
Okay.
a massive knowing, claircognizant.
Okay.
So you could be sitting there going, no, no, no. And I'm going, no, I believe them,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'll leave that with you.
Yes.
And 9 times out of 10, people come back and go, yeah, I checked into that. They were right. Right. So,
Yeah.
but they know the information at the time. So it's been a building of, I know I've gone kind of around the block with the question, but
Okay.
it's been about building with different mentors, and working with them, and building my library in my head for spirit to be able to tap in to get me to say things. Like, I did a reading the other day. It was hilarious. I was like, I am laughing because I'm going, oh my God, your family's awesome. And yet, the person that was getting the reading, she didn't have a great family. She, it was a horrible bringing up. Parents were
Yeah.
alcoholic, emotionally abusive, really not a great situation, has a lot of long-term issues from it,
Yeah.
with relationships and family and whatever happened. And there's a reason I probably said that to somebody who's listening to this, and it turns out that I said to her, I got a new symbol, because every time I read, spirit gives me a new symbol. And I said, look, I don't understand this, but I need you to work with me. And I said, your loved one's showing me a candy apple. Like, when you go to the fair and it's sitting on a display shelf and there's a whole bunch of them, and the old sticks in them, but they're just sitting there. And I said, she goes, no, never had those when I went to the fair. And I said, okay, but there's a reason they're showing me this. This is really important. They won't let this go. I said, I'll explain to you what it means for me, because I used to go to the fall fair every year and I would look at the candy apples. And she goes, oh my God, 4 of my brothers were carnies.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And
They
see,
had to tap into what my knowledge was. Do you see the difference? Because that's in my head, my library for going to the carnivals.
yeah. And that's profound because, it helps me because I see and hear and I mean, my conversation to you has been, oh my God, I can't, shut it off. And forever I was afraid of it. Like there was this huge fear around it.
Yeah.
And so I've worked through that fear now. And I've done that simply by, you and another good friend of mine who I have in a connection of mentors outside of here just said,
Mm.
listen, when it's coming at you, just say, okay, I hear you. I see you. I feel you. Thank you. But go easy on me. And when
Yes.
I started to do that, it started to go, okay. But it's important for me to hear that today because so many times I get things and I'm like, what the hell was that about? But
Well, exactly, right? So, and that's the confusing part, because then you think you're crazy. You're like,
I
Look at this, right? Like, hold on here. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you the funniest freaking thing, and this is how spirit can play with you.
know.
I was
Okay.
working in Windsor with a friend of mine. We worked through some like psychic expo shows they're called. So we're down in Windsor twice a year, or actually once a year only in the summer. So we're down there. We go. We're reading for our second full day. It's like 10-hour days we're reading for. We get back on the Saturday night. All we want to do is get into our room and go to bed because we're exhausted.
Yep.
That morning, as I was getting ready on the Saturday morning, I started singing this song. Spirit does a lot of songs with me. So I said to her, I started singing, Mrs. Brown, I've got a lovely daughter. And I started singing the song to her with the accent. And I said, any of your family, like, does this mean anything to any of your family? Because I'm with her, right? And she's
Yeah.
got people in spirit. And she's a medium as well. So keep this in mind.
Yeah.
I said, nope, not for me. So all day I'm waiting for somebody to be able to take this song. Nobody. Okay. So we get back to the hotel. We go to get into the room. You know those the strip keys, the key
Yeah.
card doesn't work. We're at the
Of
far
course
end
it
of the
doesn't.
hotel. We're at the far end of the hotel. My friend is waiting for a hip replacement. Okay, so she's like in pain.
Oh.
She's sitting on the floor. I go back, bring the security key. Still can't get us in. The master key still won't get us in his room. Okay, so now you got two high vibrating
High
mediums.
frequency. Yep.
You speed up the electronics, right? Still
Yep.
can't get us in. So now and the hotel's booked solid. There's no extra rooms. They said. I'm like, come on. So we're waiting for the locksmith, right? We're sitting in the hallway. The man comes out for the next room, and he goes, "Oh, I heard you guys are, waiting for a locksmith." He goes, "Do you guys need to use the washroom?" He walks out of his room. He's with his family, right? And he walks out with his baseball jersey on, and he's got Brown written right across the front of his jersey. So I had been singing, "Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter," right? Well, and my girlfriend pipes up, "I gotta pee." I dodged past him right at this point into the room to go pee. She said, "Do you have a daughter?" He goes, "Yeah, I do." He goes, "We're here for our daughter's baseball tournament." So Spirit knew that morning that I would be touching base with him, no pun intended,
Yeah.
that night.
Wow. That's amazing.
So, and how many hours later is that?
That's a lot of hours later,
That
right?
was probably about, I was probably saying that at 7:30 in the morning, and we met them at 11:15 at night. So they're always working way ahead of us. They know so much more than we ever know.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, and it's so true. Wow. That's amazing.
That's my sign when I see the name Brown.
Mm.
It's so stupid. That's now in my head. Oh, that's your daughter.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Because
There.
it's tapped that into it's like so ingrained in my brain now. It's like a long way to get symbol into my head to get daughter.
Yes. It's wild and it's amazing. So you are working on a book right now.
I am.
Do you have an anticipated time when that will be finished?
If I could get 2 solid weeks to just be left alone and write, I would probably have it done. But I have an editor who's editing it for me because that's not my forte.
Yeah.
And nothing drives me crazier than reading a book and you kind of go, "Ooh, really?" Like
Yeah.
I'm not an English major. Not my thing.
I'm just letting it all come out.
I give you all the information. I can dictate it. You make it sound pretty.
Yeah, that's good.
What I love about it is, and you want to hear the funny part?
Yeah.
I got downloaded with a whole book when I was driving in a 7-minute period last summer. And I went, "Guys, I don't know anything about writing a book. What are you talking about?" When I talk guys, I'm talking my guides, right?
Yeah.
And I went, ugh. So then I threw it up for a little bit. And I said, if it's meant to be, you'll make it work out. So I was reading in Belleville, Ontario. Doesn't this lady sit in front of me? She's an editor. I said, "There's a reason you sat down." And she's very spiritual, which is perfect. She gets what I do.
Yeah.
And we've connected. So the universe will hand you what you need when you need it.
It
And
is so true.
to that point. So she's got me on a she says 2 years to get it in print. I want it to be more because it's easier for me to say the whole thing, dictate it, but now she's got to go through it all and edit it. And there's several edits that have to be done. So I'd love to have it done by next summer, to be honest with you. I really would.
That would be awesome. Well, we're going to watch for that for sure.
It's going to be a game changer. That's what they show me.
Perfect.
Nice.
And then you do a live Facebook every week.
I do a live Facebook every week, starting at 8 o'clock to usually from 8 to 8:30, 8:45 sometimes, depending on the night. I didn't do it last night. I had to cancel it due to a health issue with my dog, so an emergency.
I saw that this morning. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry about
that's
that.
okay. She's holding her own today, so we'll see. I know she's got very limited time with us, so I've just kind of shut everything down just to hang out with her, and that's okay. It's a life process. One of my best friends is a vet, and she said to me, dogs are like books. You create all these beautiful memories and chapters with them, but she goes, and they're only here for such a short time, and then they move on. But what I have found out through what I'm doing as a medium, and I volunteer at the local humane society as well, is
Yes.
I know that they come to us, especially dogs. They are like angels on four legs. They come with a purpose to help us get through some of the craziest stuff in our lives. And they've served that purpose, they leave.
Yeah. And that's so true. I feel where you are right now, because 2 years ago, our beloved 12-year-old, who we'd had forever, Jessie dog, or no, my God, that was our first dog, Tanner. Tanner, we went away camping and we had left him home because he wasn't himself that weekend. And my mom called me because my mom lives with us, and she said, Heather, I noticed that Tanner has a sore on his belly. And I
Oh,
was like, what? Did he like get, poked outside whenever he was running through stuff? And she's like, I don't know. But I said, okay, we'll be home tonight and we'll take a look at it and we'll take him to the vet and all that stuff. So we got home and oh my goodness gracious, it was a mess. And I was like, oh, so we took him to the vet right away and we got in there and she said, it's infected. I think maybe he poked his belly with a stick.
yeah, yeah,
And so went on a round of antibiotics and he was doing everything that he should have done, all of the same things.
yeah.
And so it didn't go down, kept getting larger and larger and larger. And we
It's
took
a
him
red
in.
flag right there, yeah.
Yeah, and we took him in and she said, guys, I'm sorry, this isn't a stick. This is cancer in his belly. And if it's coming out this way in a lump, then it's probably all the way through him. You have a choice. We can manage the pain. And he wasn't in pain then, right? And so um, we managed it for about 2.5, 3 weeks. And then
Oh,
he started to be in pain. And it started to get really bad. And I was cleaning him every night. I had diapers on him and I just thought, how can I let you go? You know, but then that was my selfishness, right? And that was my ego. I knew that, this dog had been with me through my entire PTSD struggle. And it was just, he was my person. He
yeah,
knew me,
that
and,
person.
and
Yeah.
yeah. And I couldn't let him go. And, plus my son was so attached to my youngest son. And it was like, how can I take this? How can this happen? And long story short, we did end up putting Tanner down. Um, and it was the most beautiful, but it was the hardest moment of my life, and I had to really work through that. And my heart was just so shattered because I'd lost my person,
Yeah.
right? And
They're
like
like
you
our
said,
kids. They're like our kids.
they are, and
They're
he was so
reciprocating.
connected to me, and he knew me. And anyway, long story short, I said, I'm not doing a dog for a while. Like, I can't do this.
That doesn't ever last very long with dog people.
No, it doesn't. And then my sister passed away and she had 4 dogs. And the baby dogs, her partner just couldn't deal with everybody. And he's like, would you take the two? Because they're
Okay.
brothers, right? No, they're brothers. They're a
Right.
litter apart and they're like one dog. So now I have 2 dogs. But it's funny
Wow.
because I look at each one of them and I say, yeah, so Sarah left, but Sarah, I've got a piece of Sarah. Do you know,
Yeah.
all of
Funny
those.
how things work out, right?
It is,
Yeah.
and I couldn't imagine my life without them. So, but I also can't imagine being where you are now and knowing that you get to that place.
And it's not like the hard part is it's such a rare cancer. It affects her thyroid and it's very rare. So what happens is she has a tumor in her thyroid, but it's hyperactive, which is
Oh,
releasing all of this thyroxine into her bloodstream really rapidly. Like it gets in bursts, so it increases her heart rate, her breathing. We're actively trying to give her medication to bring it down and keep her stable because if we don't, she can have a massive heart attack and just die from the stress in her system. So if we can get that down and controlled a little bit,
yeah.
then just kind of it's more of a grieving process. It's not going to change the outcome. Yes, we will have to make a decision. It's really hard when they're cognitively present and
Yes.
aware. However, my husband and I, she's a 100-pound German Shepherd.
Yeah.
we have to, and she's not thin, she's a big girl, and we're having to physically, like, help her in and out. We have to carry her back in the house and go for a pee. And I know when it's her time, she'll look at me and go, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I am done. Like, I slept with her last night on the floor, and it's just, you know
Yeah.
so, and it's funny watching other animals with a dying animal, because they know. I
They
have three
do.
cats, and they start watching her, and they go up and they smell her, and they make sure she's okay, and
Yeah.
it's kind of neat.
It
It's
is kind
kind
of
of an
neat.
interesting process, and how the universe works with nature. And I
Is
know she's okay. You know what I mean? Like, at the minute, I have everything that's been in play, everything, how it's all worked out. The vets have been fantastic. It's just, I couldn't ask for anything better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now is just your time to rest and honor and spend your time with her,
Yeah.
to transition whatever that whatever way that happens. And it's important. And I did the same thing, and
What's
right?
really interesting is, I always thought, I know with people, our loved ones wait for us on the other side, and so do our guides.
Yeah.
But what I found interesting with her is, she has guides dressed in white waiting for her on the other side.
That's amazing.
So I thought it would be animal people waiting for her on the other side, animals, but
Yeah.
she actually has, because I saw them this morning and I went, wow.
Wow, that is amazing. Wow.
So
That's yeah.
it blew my spiritual brain, actually, I'll be honest with you.
No doubt. No doubt. And your spiritual brain, just needs to be where it needs to be right now. So just to recap, because I know that you've got to go here very soon because
I
you've got
do.
an appointment. So we can check you out at www.bluemountainmedium.com.
Yes, please.
Okay. We can check you out every Wednesday night around 8 p.m. on your Beverly or Blue Mountain Medium Facebook page.
Yes, so it's Blue Mountain Medium, yes, in Beverly Frosh, and you'll just Google it; it'll pop up on
Okay.
Facebook. It's really
Perfect.
simple. Yeah,
If somebody wanted to book a reading with you, or yeah, sometimes a lot of people, a lot of my friends have said to me, "Hey, can we get a tribe together? And do a group reading?"
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah, I do those. I will actually come to people's houses, but as long as they're within, 35 to probably 30 to 45 minutes of where I live in
Yeah.
Collingwood. I don't mind traveling a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, group readings are great. If we did a group reading, I can promise 8 to 10 people are reading in 2 hours.
Okay. Perfect.
Anything above that, I can't make any guarantees.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. You can also do like a family group read if you needed to. I have access at my office, where on First Street, I actually have a room that I can access up to about 20, 24 people.
Okay.
Yeah, so if somebody wanted to bring a larger family or put something together, that's an option too. Or I go to people's homes as well, and
Perfect.
do them. Or I get a lot of stuff I can do at the village as well, Blue Mountain Village. People will be coming up and do a group reading. So they're always
Nice.
so easy. And those are things, if you want to do a group reading, just email me directly, or
Okay.
click on the contact me on my website,
Hmm.
and that'll take a message right to me, because I book those outside of my regular readings. My actual online calendar is on my website. People can book directly on there and check a time that works for them, whether it's a half an hour reading or a 1 hour reading, and they can pay right there, and it's booked right away, and they get the information right there. So yeah, it's
Perfect.
that simple.
Awesome. Well, if there was one word that you were to share with the tribe today about moving forward, if you're a sensitive, intuitive, open conduit, what would that be?
Trust.
Awesome. Thank you. My heart goes out to you today, and I appreciate you coming on here. I would like to talk to you outside of here very quickly. I'll close down and message you. But I would also like to maybe do, when your time frees up, I know you've got stuff going on, a short little Q&A with the membership on Facebook, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll arrange that. Other than that, have a wonderful day. Much love
Well,
to
thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much, and I'll reach out to you offline.
Okay, thanks, darling.
Thanks. Take
Thanks for the
care.
invitation.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.